Hello, it's 9 o'clock. Welcome to the weather update. It is February 17, 2021. And yeah, we've got another winter weather event on the way. And you see here the weather briefing. It says up here at the top of the page, long duration snowfall Thursday into Friday. So this is going to be a long duration event, unfortunately. It's not going to be heavy all the time. But this is the latest from the National Weather Service. We have a winter weather advisory in effect for Long Island, New York City. But parts of New Jersey are under winter storm warning. So a light to moderate snowfall is likely on Thursday with periods of light snow and wintry mix continuing Thursday night to Friday. They're saying a widespread 3 to 6 inches is expected for Thursday by Thursday evening with an additional 1 to 3 possible Thursday night to Friday rate, totaling 5 to 9 inches for the much of the area Friday morning. And there could also be a light glaze of ice too. This is their forecast here. 7, 6 for much of Long Island. This doesn't show New Jersey, but we'll look at the models. And then we could have a little ice too. A little icing. It's the scattered amount of ice, but it doesn't take a lot to make it difficult because we may have some of it mixed with freezing rain for tomorrow. But let's get to today's weather first. We're dealing with a lot of high clouds. It kind of came in pretty quick, this tongue of moisture that has just come in. Let's look at the MODIS satellite so you'll see what we've been dealing with most of the day, these high clouds. So we didn't really get a clear sky. The clouds came in pretty quick, and we didn't really have much of a clear sky today. And the clouds, at times it was overcast. And this is all from the storm system, actually. This is all just spitting out from the storm system into our area, as you see. So that's why we had all these clouds around today, unfortunately. This is the other satellite image here, which again shows those clouds coming into the area. Right now it's actually not as thick as it was earlier. But if we go back earlier, if we go back looking at things during the day, you'll see the clouds are pretty thick. Well, that's actually not far enough back, but we'll go back 96 frames here. You'll see here, you see those clouds just kind of streaming in. And so we didn't really get a clear day at all today, unfortunately. Let's go to the CONUS view. And here's our storm in the CONUS view. And again, here it is. So this is the storm that is moved out of Texas. There's actually severe weather on the south end of it and snow on the north end of it. And this is all heading in our direction. So, yeah, I know. Another damn storm. I'm tired of it too. Trust me. So let's look at the radar right now. And you see here's the storm. So got some heavy snows going on from southern Ohio down through Kentucky, Tennessee, into parts of Arkansas, and then as you move further south into other parts of Tennessee and Mississippi, you've got ice and sleet. And then south of there, you have some severe weather, actually like around Baton Rouge and New Orleans there. Looks like you got some severe weather over there as well. Unless that's mixing. I don't know if that's see some pink. I think that might be sleet or something in these things. So you could actually have thunder sleet. That's a possibility right there. So yeah, this is all heading in our direction. You could sort of see how it's just been, the moisture's been streaming across into our area here. You can sort of see that on here. Let's look at the lightning here. Just see if there's a lightning being produced. Probably are thunderstorms on the southern end of this. Yeah, there are. So these are thunderstorms, not producing a lot of lightning, not like the other storm. The storm isn't as strong as the other storm, but it's still a storm nonetheless, and it is heading in our direction. So you can see here's you can take a look at the storm track, follow all the winter storm warnings all the way up from Texas, all the way up through Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, all the way up through Kentucky into Pennsylvania into New Jersey. It's quite a stretch of winter weather, winter storm warnings, and then around it you got the winter weather advisory. So we're gonna have the criteria for a winter storm warning. You have to have more than 6 inches of snow within, I think, a 24-hour period. But this is going to be drawn out over a larger period of time. It looks like you have some flood warnings actually over here. Looks like so we're gonna have to watch for that too because of the heavy rainfall. So let's look at some of the observations in our area. And we could start actually down here where they're still dealing with the cold air in Texas. Not quite as cold now, 27 in Dallas. And Houston is up to 36. That's still way below normal for them. to deal with that kind of cold weather in these areas. In New Orleans, they're around 40 degrees. That's still cold. That's still very cold for that area. Quite cold. So getting to our area, though, we're dealing with temperatures generally around the 30-degree mark. Looks like we're starting to drop a little more, getting some radiational cooling. West Hampton is down to 19. Otherwise, we're in the mid to upper 20s across the area, and the city's holding on to the low 30s. And in New Jersey, also mid-20s. So let's take a look at what the high temperatures were today. You see, we did actually manage to get into the 30s today, which I was not expecting. But we did get up to 36 at Farmingdale, 36 at Islip, 36 at West Hampton. A little colder in the city, 33 at Central Park. And again, New Jersey also, Toms River around mid-30s, which we weren't expecting it to get that warm, actually. We thought it was going to be a little colder than that today. So the models kind of, underdid things. What does that mean for tomorrow, if anything? Well, I guess that's where we go next. We start looking at the models. Before I go there, I just want to show you the power outage map. There's still over 2 million people. The restoration effort in Texas is going very slow, and now you have a lot of outages in Mississippi and Louisiana due to ice storms, due to icing that we just saw on the radar. So if we do look at Texas, you'll see they're still doing the load shedding. Certain areas are still dealing with a lot of outages here. So this is just a very, very slow process bringing all that generation back online because they just weren't prepared. But that's, that's the fault of Texas. That's the government there. They don't want to be regulated by the federal government. So you have no standards, and that's what happens when you have no standards. So anyway, getting back to what's going to be happening next, looking at this. So here's our storm right here. This is our storm that is currently going to be coming out of the south. This is the GFS 18Z. So here's that high that we had today. But that high starts moving off to the northeast. And we start seeing some snow move into the northeast probably by tomorrow morning. And then we have that snow possibly mixing with and changing to freezing rain and possibly just rain. And then on the backside of it, we could get a little more snow. Like I said, this is a very slow-moving storm. So you see how slow-moving it is? So it's going to be with us tomorrow and Friday. Now, it won't really start wrapping up until later Friday afternoon. And then that high builds in and gives us a nice cold and dry weekend. But we're not going to go beyond that in this forecast. We're just going to look at the weekend, basically. That's it, up to the weekend. Because we got our hands full with this storm that's approaching. So, again, here's a closer look at the GFS, and here's the track of it. So we get into some snow. It starts mixing. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if we do see more mixing because the model's busted with the temperatures today. So it could be a little warmer than expected for tomorrow. And then you could see it kind of wrap up. But you can see it's borderline temps the whole way through. Well, at least it looks like that on this thing. So when we look at the temperatures first, which is what we're going to go back to here, look at the temperatures on the GFS here. So this was the GFS forecast for today, which was warmer than it was supposed to be. All right, so tomorrow we might see a little more warmer air than expected. So we're going to around that 32-degree mark, but you can see they go above freezing in Jersey there and parts of Long Island. And then as we get into Friday, we're all above freezing. So that's going to limit accumulations. You also have to remember that the heaviest period of snow is going to be during the day, which also makes a difference, believe it or not. So looking at the GFS's total snowfall, it has now lowered the amounts on Long Island. You can barely see here, but you see just about 3 inches. But if you go into New Jersey, it's a little higher. Central Jersey, Northern Jersey, Hudson Valley, 6 inches. And then it gets a little lighter again as you head toward the shore, maybe like 4 or 5 inches. This is, again, the GFS's opinion of what's going to happen. And as you'll see, there's still differences in the models. At least the last time I looked, there were. So let's go to the NAM 12. This is the next one. All right, so the NAM, obviously colder, brings in the heavier snow. And puts the heavier snow actually just to our south, believe it or not, and then over Long Island. This would be, again, during the heart of the day tomorrow. But then it kind of fizzles out a little bit. We get into some lighter mixed precipitation, possibly some freezing rain, sleet. Kind of tapers off, but you see the low in the front still remain in the vicinity as we head into Friday. So we're still going to be having some light snow hanging around. And this is as far out as I got of the 0Z run. This only goes out to 11 Z on Friday. If we were to go to the 18Z run, you'd see we go a little further here, and you see that light snow just wants to hang around a good part of Friday. So when we look at the total snowfall on the NAM, you'll see some higher numbers. Not surprisingly, it's closer to 8 or 9 inches over central New Jersey and closer to 7 on Long Island. And again, a lot of that seems to fall. Part of that falls tomorrow. This is, again, by tomorrow night on the NAM, and then the other half would fall later. But again, this is the old 18Z run, and this is the new run here that we only have out here. But I honestly think these numbers might be a little high. I really do. I really do think they might be a little high, considering this is the NAM. All right, remember the NAM does have a bias to produce more snow. All right, sometimes it's right and sometimes it's wrong. The next model we can go ahead and look at would be the HRRR. And again, we can look, and fortunately we have the 0Z HRRR to work with. So let's go to this one, and this is the most rapidly updating model that we have that we can use right now. So here is the HRRR, and you'll see we start snowing by late morning, and you can see some heavier pockets of snow move across, and some of these look pretty heavy around that 1, 2 o'clock. Looks like it hits New Jersey, and then it moves over Long Island closer to 2 or 3, and then we get into that light mixed precipitation. And then toward the back end of it, you'll see we have a little bit on the back end, but I don't think we would get more than an inch or two on the back end at most. All right, so looking at the total snowfall on this, you will see that this gives Long Island about 4 or 5 inches, and it has a sharp cutoff. Once you get from south of Toms River, you're only got a couple of inches. So you can see the storm track on this is like different. You can see the storm track on here. That the HRRR seems to think it's going to be a little further north. NAM seems to think it's going to be further south. And we go ahead and we also look at the temperatures here as well on this HRRR model as well. So you'll see we're below freezing, but look, parts of Long Island could go above freezing by the afternoon, and again, southern parts of New Jersey stay above freezing, and then we're above freezing on Friday. So again, that means it's going to have a little tough time accumulating at that point, whatever would fall. We can also look at the total accumulated precip, because we will get at least an inch of liquid equivalent from this. All right, probably 3/4 of an inch to an inch of liquid equivalent. All right, some of it may fall as freezing rain, plain rain. It'll be a mix of everything, pretty much. All right, so that's the HRRR's opinion on that. And what we don't have is you don't have as many. You don't have as many parameters on the HRRR to look at. Really see, but this is another thing that one can be used as positive snow change depth. So this isn't going to be a huge. This is why the Weather Service went with the winter weather advisory, which I agree with. So that's pretty much the HRRR's opinion. But again, we don't have all the parameters that the NAM would provide us. The NAM provides us with more parameters, such as the FGen. All right, and this is important because this tells us where the heaviest precipitation is going to be. And you could see here that it pumps out the heaviest precipitation just to our south, that this only goes up to 18Z on Thursday, because again, this is the 18Z NAM run. We would have to go to the older run at 18Z today, and you see it would bring that area up, and this would be just a quick like burst of heavy snow, perhaps mixing with sleet. But this would be a quick burst right there. And then after that, we're kind of done with the heavy burst. So the heavy burst moves out, and then we're done with that. Now, again, if we look at the NAM's liquid equivalent, it probably does give us more of a liquid equivalent than the other models. So this is the NAM's liquid equivalent, and it does seem to give a little more liquid equivalent. still generally within that 1/4 inch to maybe 1.5 inch range of liquid equivalent. Not a huge difference, but I think when we look at the temperatures, that's where you'll see the difference here, is that the NAM is colder. Let's see. The NAM is somewhat colder, but it has Long Island literally just on the borderline, literally, and it still brings in that above freezing air. So, and this would be the NAM again. This is the NAM's opinion of what could happen. We can also look at the NAM 3, which is a higher resolution version of the NAM that we also have. So we can also look at that as well, and we can also look at the FGen as well on the 3. But again, I don't have, this is as far out as I've got. We would have to go to the 18Z run. And this is the, but I just don't think it shows up as nicely on the 3. We can also look at the, this as well. And we can look at the surface reflections. And again, you could see really would be very heavy snow that would be developing over central New Jersey, possibly into the Jersey Shore. And this would be, again, around like noon tomorrow, and then that moves over our area 1 or 2 o'clock. But then you can see after that, it gets kind of light, and then we just got this light freezing precipitation, but it'll be a quick burst. And this would be the back end of it. All right, so using the higher resolution NAMs, total snowfalls, you could see it actually gives Long Island around the 6, but in New Jersey seems to be closer to 7 or 8. Depending on where that line sets up. So it's really going to be really hard to say what is going to happen. But I don't think anyone in our tri-state area is going to see it double digits. I think we'll be in the single digits as far as the snowfall amounts go right now. That seems to be what it's looking like. There are some other models we could use, of course. So we'll go back to this, and we will go look at the ICON model as well. But I just caution everybody because we trended warmer today than expected, so that has an effect on the storm, at least I believe. So this is the ICON's model, which, again, keeps us in the snow until maybe the evening, and then we get that light, and you can see that front just kind of hanging out in our area, not getting out until Saturday. So if we looked at the icon and the total snowfall, it's actually a lot lower. It's only 3 inches. This may be a little too low in my opinion here. So they're all, and then you have the RGEM, of course, which is the other model we can use. All right, RGEM seems to think around 5 inches and has the sweet spot over our area. So there is some disagreement as to where the heavier snow will fall, and it all depends on where this brief heavy burst of snow hits, if it even materializes at all. But you can see they got decent amount of snow going on right now with the storm, so there's a good bet that there'll be a decent thump, as people like to say, of snow around noon into the early afternoon, perhaps. And then after that, it's lighter, but it'll be a decent thump. You know, it's a good way to put it, I guess. So when we go and we look at what I think is going to happen, and I can actually draw my forecast up on this map, which is what I'll do. We'll just remove all the layers here. We'll just draw it right here. Where do I think the heavier snow is going to be is the question when I draw this out. And honestly, I see the heavier snow being in this kind of corridor right here. All right. And this is where I think you're going to see your 6 to 9 inches possible. All right. For everybody outside of that area, I think there'll be some coastal influences going on. And in this area here, say Monmouth County, New Jersey, into much of Long Island, except for the North Shore, and except for the East End, I think you're going to be looking at the 4 to 6 inches. 4 to 6 inches, I think, is what you're going to be seeing. All right. And then as you go further south and east of that, I think you're going to be seeing 2 to 4 inches. All right. So that's what I'm thinking right now. That's what it looks like. But again, it's going to be a plowable snow. Yes, I do believe it will be a plowable snow for sure. But I do not see anyone getting double digits, and I think the NAM's just a teeny bit high, a teeny bit by an inch or two. But again, it's going to be a moderate snowfall. So that's pretty much what we're going to be dealing with. So now let's go ahead and move along and see what's going to be happening now for the weekend once we get through this storm and it moves out of the way. We're going to have a dry weekend, obviously, so we'll go to the GFS here. So once we get rid of this storm, get it out of here, Saturday we should have a breezy, cool day. Got high pressure in charge, so we won't have to deal with any precipitation. The same thing for Sunday. Our next chance of precipitation would be Monday. Right now, GFS seems to think it's going to be a rain event. But right now, the next thing we do is once we get rid of all those, when are we going to see the sun? Obviously, we did see a little sun today, but it wasn't a nice clear sky. When are we going to have a nice clear sky? Because, it's been a while. It's been too long. So this is the GFS for Saturday. So we start clearing out from west to east. And I think that by the afternoon, I think most places should be mostly sunny. And as we go into Sunday, might be a little bit of instability, cloudiness. Sunday, we should have probably less clouds. Hopefully, it'll be actually a clear day, completely clear. And this is, again, the GFS's opinion on this. Now, temperatures, it's going to be cold, but probably expected similar temperatures to today, probably. Highs probably around 30 degrees, highs around maybe even getting above freezing. At night, we're in the low 20s. But if you get radiational cooling, it's going to be colder than that. Sunday, similar idea, highs around 30 degrees. So after that, obviously the snow we get, it's not really going to be in a hurry to melt, but hopefully won't be that much. So now we go to the NAM with the sky cover. And again, I don't have that one, so we have to use the 18th. I don't think the NAM goes far enough out to show us what the weekend is going to be like, actually. Let's see if we can. Obviously, tomorrow and Friday, we're not seeing the sun. This is as far out as I got for Saturday, so we'd have to go look at the RGM and see what happens. So this is the RGM for Saturday. Start off with clouds, and then it looks mostly sunny in the morning, and then maybe some clouds develop by late afternoon. And then as far as we got, that's as far as I've got on that. However, there is one more model that we could look at here. And that would be the European model, which we have not looked at yet, because I have to use a different site for it. And that would be, obviously windy.com. And we could also look at that and look at what the temperature is going to be tomorrow. This is the European model now. All right, so European keeps us firmly below freezing at noon. We get to 5, we're still below freezing. All right, so the European, much colder. But it starts bringing in some warmer air as you get toward Friday, and the temperature then goes up above freezing, and that would put a stop to the bad conditions. But again, this is the European model, so let's go ahead and look at the. This would give us, so you can see this is Thursday. It has us in the heart of the snow around that noon hour. There's agreement on that, and it just keeps us in the snow and maybe a mix over Jersey. But it keeps us in the snow for a while. This is the European model, keeping us in some type of snowy precipitation. So when you look at the European model, it probably has the highest numbers. And, 6.2. Actually, it's not that far off from what I'm expecting. 6.6 inches for the East End and also Toms River. So everybody gets around 6 inches on the European. European obviously being a little colder, so it gives us a little more closer to 6 inches, but that's still close to what I expect. Again, most of us on Long Island are probably going to see around that 4 to 6 inch range, I think. And some areas like the North Shore could be closer to 8 or 9 inches, probably closer to 8 or 9. Same thing, New York City into Central Jersey. But I don't think it's going to be. I don't think anyone's seeing a foot of snow. It's going to be a moderate snowfall. That's basically what it's going to be. And so we can't look at the European as far as the cloud forecast goes, and so look at Saturday. So we start off with some sun, but then the clouds build. We'll have to see how much sun we can get. I'm thinking Sunday is probably going to be the clearer day. And why is it saying negative 460? So there's obviously some issue with the temperature forecast there. It's not negative 460. But we will have, I think, the best bet of some clear skies would be on Sunday right now. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Hopefully the snowstorm isn't too bad. I don't want it to be too bad, but I don't look forward to having to deal with, again, more snow and more snow mounds being put onto the sidewalks and all that other stuff. You know, the way I feel about it is, we need serious crackdowns from the government on people who don't shovel the sidewalks. First time, $1,000 fine. Second time, $5,000 fine. The third time, $10,000 fine and a week in jail. And then I think people would start shoveling their sidewalks. But, we got to be tough. We got to be tough about it, No excuses. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this weather update. Take care and thank you for watching.